Jaco the Clown lives in a delusional world. Each Tuesday, also known as Jaco Tuesday, he is released from the safety of the Acme Mental Hospital in order to host his own podcast show, See My Mind. Welcome to the show.
Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to See My Mind, the greatest podcast in the world. I'm your host, Jaco. I'd like to take a moment and thank many of you for writing the show after last week's episode. I still have many close ties to the Supercross community and have even had thoughts of perhaps racing again one day. Now, if I really...
Jaco, I think Dr. Snedley has something to say to you.
Can I take a guess? You know, this is my show. I should be the one who decides what happens next.
Jaco, use your wind chimes. Goodness, you're getting yourself too ramped up.
Oh, that's much better. Yes, I needed that.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Now get comfortable and close your eyes, and when you hear the snap of my fingers, you'll be deep asleep, but still able to hear my voice. And... now, Jaco, I want to take you back to your days as a Chef de Cuisine.
Would you like my recollections medium or rare?
Well, I always just want you to be honest and forthright with me, Jaco. So, how did you get started cooking?
Well, it all began in our humble kitchen at home, Dr. Snedley. I began watching Mummy make breakfast until I started assisting her. I was probably around 4 or 5.
What kind of things did she let you do to help her?
Well, at first, I was just fetching whatever she needed, but she knew I couldn't wait to get my hands all up in the actual handling of the ingredients. It wasn't long before she turned me loose and basically stood out of the way.
What were some of the first things you prepared, Jaco?
Well, I was an instant omelet specialist. My omelets were to die for. I also made French pastries and beef Wellington.
Did you ever attend culinary school?
I learned everything I needed to know right in the kitchen, Dr. Snedley. Right in the trenches. The kitchen was my gastronomic university.
Well, when did you first become a chef de cuisine?
Well, for years I worked as a private chef, for several business moguls before landing my first job as a chef de cuisine at the Fat Duck in England. It's world famous, I was 14 years old at the time. During the 4 years I was there, I earned a Michelin 5-star rating each year.
Well, I thought that the Michelin rating only went as high as 3 stars.
Well, that's true. But they made an exception for me because my cooking sent people into a trance-like state, lasting up to 4 hours after their meal. They just sat there in utter caloric bliss without even blinking. Our wait staff had to carry many of them outside where ambulances gathered to revive them and to, make more room inside for the other patrons to dine on my exquisite dishes.
What made your food so delicious, Jaco?
It was all in these hands, Dr. Snedley. To be fair, There were also other factors at play. For example, I curated my own exotic spices from several local farmers in Belize and Tibet. I paid top dollar in order to have, exclusive rights. There was something in the soil over there that couldn't be replicated anywhere else.
Well, did you have all the typical kitchen equipment in your restaurant?
Not at all. I designed most of my own food preparation equipment. For example, my pots and pans were made from the exterior of the space shuttle. And my custom stovetop burned nitromethane fuel. I had the fastest burners in the world. For my knives, I use only surgical scalpels, usually a 10-blade for most dishes.
Do you have a specialty dish?
Well, even after becoming a chef de cuisine, I only prepared dinners, and people would still order my 12-egg omelets as their main course, They've been a crowd favorite for as far back as I can remember. But the dish I'm most proud of is my pufferfish. I like the challenge of getting as close as possible to poisoning those brave enough to order it. If they survived, we would give them a colorful little ribbon to celebrate their courage.
Well, that's just an amazing story, Jaco. Well, thank you for sharing it with me once again today. You created such a beautiful painting of your days as a chef de cuisine, and I know you want to see it, so let's bring you back now. Okay, look deep into my eyes, and when I snap my fingers, you'll be on stage in your unveiling theater. And...
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Well, good evening. I'll never forget my days as a chef de cuisine, creating the most delectable dishes the world has ever tasted. Well, now it's time for me to pull the cord to reveal my masterpiece painting entitled Chef de Cuisine.
And so it was. Please stay tuned for next week's episode of See My Mind, entitled The Prosecutor, starring Jaco the Clown.